Should be live. Hi everyone, me and David are back. We are going to talk about lists for Sealand Open.
Yeah.
And we both picked out three lists, one at each level.
Yes.
Because we have the 400, 800, and 1250 levels of points.
Exactly. And just to recap, 400 points is one platoon only. 800 points is two platoons and must contain everything from platoon 1, being allowed to upgrade the amount of men and equipment, but not veterancy. And then list 3 is 1250, needing to contain everything from list 2, and same rules for upgrade applies, and it's 4 platoons.
Right. So we're going to start by looking at some of the 400 points lists. And for me, my expectations going into this was that people would try and maybe bring something that was difficult to kill in when you only have a rifle platoon. So I thought perhaps someone would attempt to bring armored transports or something like that, because they're really difficult to kill.
Yes, especially.
What did you expect?
I was expecting a little bit of most people would. I was expecting most people would attempt to maximize the order dice cap, which was at 400 points was 8.
Yeah.
And not many people did, so I was surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a lot of people actually below the 8 marker. I think the most common one was 7, but
yeah.
But when you're down in those numbers, I mean, even one dice less, it matters a lot.
Absolutely, especially when you're in a rifle platoon, everything you choose is basically has influence. Besides maybe a soft skin transport, which might have influence in the fact that you can transport something depending on the mission, of course, but it doesn't. That's maybe the only thing you can choose that can kill something, right? Everything else has the potential to be killy in some fashion.
And since we've just for players going, since we just picked out something, sorry we didn't pick your lists. It's not because we hate you or your lists. It's just
no.
We picked out something
an hour trying to choose lists. Looking back and forth. So it wasn't easy. A lot. I was okay. What was your impression of the lists going into Sealand Open? What was your expectations first, and then what was the outcome?
I expected people to struggle to build decent lists. I expected a lot more mono builds, but that's not what we got at all. The lists that I'm seeing are very multidimensional. They're very mixed bag. A lot of people are bringing mixed bag. There's a heavy focus on infantry and a heavy focus on armor. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I guess the focus on armor, that was a given, but I think the format that you came up with also means that people have to focus on the infantry as well, because you have to start out with that infantry block.
Yeah. So, and each section of games, so 400, 800, and 1250, carry the same weight.
Yeah. So it can be really, really important how well you do with your infantry block in the start, and then does that carry over to you actually winning games with the next block? It's
exactly. And see, and that's why I chose this format, really, and I was the one kind of pushed it through. I know, because it provides. My expectations are that it provides such a variety of lists. And I was not disappointed. I was also expecting that the end lists, which is where we would normally be in a highly competitive setting, around 1100 to 1250, we of course are on 1250, that they would be less competitive than if they got 1250 to build off straight away. And boy, was I proven wrong, because they were not less competitive at all. Actually, I think some of them are a lot more interesting than if people only got 1250 from the beginning.
They are very, very tough lists, some of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll share my screen, and we can go and start with the 400 points lists. And we're going to start by talking about Rasmus Bo Nielsen's list. Now, Rasmus is a fairly new player. He went to Winter War, one single-day tournament that I ran, and did really well. And I've played against him twice, both at not at Winter War, but in a home game, and also in a small local tournament in Northern Sealand. He's a really good player, but he is new in the tournament scene. He has a 7 orderized German list.
Could I persuade you to zoom in a little bit? I'm sitting on a very small phone screen, so
yeah.
Thank you. And this was my choice for 400, and the reason why I chose it was it's German and it's a little bit different German.
Yep.
When you look at it.
Because for me, when I looked German, I was expecting backline holders, like 5-man regulars with LMGs. And what we got here is push units, veterans with SMGs.
Exactly.
Which is, completely different from what I had expected.
How many order dice was he on? 6 or 7?
He was on 7.
7? Yeah. So what we, I guess, can call the sweet spot for the 400 point list, right?
Exactly. He also has a sniper team, which I think could actually be good because the sniper is really survivable. He won't kill much, but he will give out those individual pins, and he might be able to take out an enemy officer.
I think you and I are in a disagreement of the importance of a sniper. We weren't V2, but I think we still are in V3. And this was the second reason why I chose this list, was because he included a sniper in the 400 points list. A sniper hits on a 3, kills on a 3 if it's a regular, because of the bonus that they have. So he is the potentially deadliest point cost thing you can get.
Yeah,
it's only 1 dice. That's the thing, of course. Everything as with everything else.
Yeah.
But the fact that he gets a bonus to hit and to wound makes him a real problem in this level of points, I think, for the opponent.
And I also think that the small changes we have in our commander's compendium to snipers really gives them a decent bonus, because you can now pick what model you're killing.
Exactly.
You're not limited to the NCO of a unit that you're shooting at, which that can be deadly.
Yes, the NCO is of course usually important to kill unless you're playing a German player. But the fact that now you can choose one of the special weapons makes him that more volatile. I think, in especially at 400 points.
Yep. And then light mortars, we see these in almost every single list. They're just so cheap. I mean, gives you that order dice. They can still do stuff if the enemy decides to dig in and just hunker down and on objectives or whatever. But most of the time, they're just going to survive. And a Hanomag to transport all his veteran dudes up to the front. I love it. Nice.
Very, very cool. It's, of course, Arbeit, meaning many lists will struggle to hurt it. A lot of people have AT rifles, but an AT rifle is only, again, 1 shot and only pen 2. So it's a matchup, I would say. And of course, being German, he has that extra shot from his MMG, which makes it kind of deadly. 4 shots hitting on force. That's not fun.
That is definitely deadly. And at 62 points, it's actually not very, very expensive. Not for something that can transport 12 dudes, right? I mean, I'm happily paying 68 points for a white scout car now.
Exactly.
So the German Hanomags have become really interesting to play around with.
Of course, the difference being that the Americans all have HMGs on their cards, right? Yeah. And that's where they excel. But 4 shots from an MNG, that's detrimental to most infantry units, especially if they didn't get cover.
Yeah. And these veterans here, they can absolutely destroy something if they get up into a close point blank range, right? And at the same time, because they're 6-man units, veterans, they're going to survive most of the retaliation that comes the other way. So
it's going to be a while before you can get through that blob of 2 times 6, right?
Yeah. I really like Rasmus's list here. It's really,
Yes.
really good. Now, personally, I picked out Anas.
Yes. Tell me
And I
why.
did this because I have played against this list.
Oh,
And I absolutely destroyed him. But I think it still has some of the same trends that we're
okay.
seeing in Rasmus's list. So this is a British list.
British list. Okay.
At 400 points, he brings the rifle platoon with the inexperienced platoon commander,
Yes.
SMG, and then a Gurkha section of
That's a big
7
section of
men
Gurkhas.
with two
Oh, yeah.
SMGs.
Okay.
Uh, a smaller Gurkha section, again with two SMGs.
Yeah.
A home guard section with a light machine gun. Home guard are inexperienced dudes, and they have green. Two of them are unarmed, and one of them
Okay.
gets the LMG. So basically, you're not sacrificing riflemen, but you have that the unarmed dudes gets the LMG and becomes the
Yeah.
loader and the shooter.
Oh, you're
And he
allowed to do
takes
that. They're not. They don't
yes,
have to be
exactly,
unarmed.
exactly,
That's
which
a
is
little bit
clever.
cheap. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
really clever. And he brings two of those. So at 60 points, an inexperienced LMG. I mean, that's pretty okay. Seven
Yeah.
man units, light mortar, AT rifle. So that is it.
Yeah. So what drew you to this list?
Um, I got drawn to this list because he's using the Gurkhas, of course. The
Okay.
Gurkhas are very, very strong, and at the same time, he has that backline holder. The home guard is going to sit and not move at any point, right?
Yeah.
So they will be the anchor or the anvil that the Gurkhas are going to try and move up and kill something. The Gurkhas will have to move slowly, methodically, but again, being veteran and fairly large units, like one of them is a 7 man unit, they have the staying power
Yeah.
that we also saw in Rasmus's list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, when I played against it, he also had included he was one home guard short and had included a Bren carrier as well for the second Gurkha section.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think he dropped that after our game, just because I ran over him most of his army, which is yeah that sucks. But yeah, I got a little lucky.
What's your position on the double SMG in the Gurkha sections?
I wouldn't take them myself, but Anas often plays MSU, so he likes to have units that can get up close and then deliver the shots. And
Yeah.
so he's not actually taking the Gurkhas as an assault unit here. He's taking them as something that's very scary, that you want to stay at range of, and that can really punch.
Okay.
So yeah.
Interesting. Yes.
Yeah. So that was my first pick. So we're now moving into the 800 points lists. And you had picked out what for 800 points?
Lars,
Lars, right.
our co-conspirator at Sealand Open.
Yep. And Lars has been very busy, so most of the work has been done by me and David because Lars has been running the Danish national team.
Yeah, he was captain, so
as he's the captain for that. So, and we have here his 800 point list, not the
I need you
400.
to zoom in a little bit more.
I will zoom
small
in
screen.
as
Thank you. Yes, perfect.
so, Lars is taking the Danes.
Yes, so this caused a little bit of a controversy on the forums that we allowed the Danish what if historical list.
Yes.
Because it is not a Warlord Games created Danish list. It is a fan-based list.
Yeah.
Created by one of the community champions, Jesper.
Yeah.
Who is a historical know-it-all, especially around the Danish units. So he created this historical list looking into what did they actually have and how can we translate that into something that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think me and David thought, well, that seems like a fluff bunny thing. Let's just allow it because it could be dangerous. And then it turned out, oh my God, was there something really dangerous in this list? And you'll see in a minute because But just for basics, he's bringing a company commander with an extra dude. He's bringing a rifle platoon with an inexperienced platoon commander, 2 5-man conscripts with VB launchers, green rifles, so
Yes.
light mortars, basically.
Yeah.
2 royal guards, veterans, 7 men with LMG, and one of them has HE grenades as well.
Yes.
And
Quite
the
strong
special,
unit, I would say.
yeah, the special rule for the royal guards in this fan-based one is actually kind of a neat little one that gives them the ability to always react to charges, which is nifty, nice.
That's quite strong.
Yeah. I don't think that 7 veterans are going to be charged much, but you know.
No, but it's there in case.
In case. An AT rifle veteran, an inexperienced truck, and then the armored platoon. And this is where it gets cheesy as fuck.
Yes. This is the cheese part.
We have the Landswerk Lynx, which is an armored car. That is possibly a bit undercosted in the Danish book here. It was the only. It was the only tank that the Danes had, more or less. We bought them off the Swedes, and it was a good tank for early war. It has a light autocannon with a coaxial machine gun and a forward-facing machine gun and a rear-facing machine gun. So it actually has 3 machine guns. And he just brings 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
He brings 5. I mean, at 65 points, they may be undercosted somewhat, right?
Yeah.
It's a closed armored car.
Yeah.
At 65 with a light autocannon and 2 extra MMGs he can use together with the autocannon, or 3 MMGs if he so desires.
Yep.
Yeah, it's probably undercosted.
But will it be awesome to see a Danish army possibly win Sealand Open?
So awesome. Though, yes, a closed armor 7 light autocannon is good. It's not earth-shattering.
No. It'll die pretty easily. Yeah.
They die very easily, and as with the sniper, it's 1 shot only, so you miss a lot. Autocannons are 2 shots only, so you miss a lot.
Yeah.
Right? He hits on 4s if he's stationary, on 5s if he's not. So it's going to be stationary. Looking at statistics, he's going to hit once. And if he moves, he's going to hit only 1/3 of the time.
Yeah.
With 1 of each, right? So it's not a massive amount of damage, you could say, due to the fact that it's only 2 shots. When you hit, it's of course some good shots because it's a light autocannon, it's penetration 2. But if he meets something that has more than 8 armor, which I think someone is bringing.
Yeah, you included.
As I remember, right?
Yeah,
it's going to be a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, it is.
Unless he can flank them, he has 5, so he has good potential to flank them. But one thing they do lack is Regge, right?
Yeah.
Once they move and shoot, they're done for. And if they haven't moved and shot, they're still done for because you cannot respond other than to take it to the face.
Yeah.
So yes, they are undercosted, definitely, but they are. It's also not the most dangerous undercost in the world, I would say. But I mean,
they do have the nice feature that they have the potential of split firing 3 ways, right?
Yeah. So they are the pin monsters, definitely.
Yeah.
It's positioned correctly, since it is a forward facing and a rear facing.
So they need to at least show their sides if they want to do that.
Yeah.
which may not be a good idea for a 7+ vehicle.
Potentially dangerous, at least.
Potentially dangerous with a lot of AT rifles on the board, and
I'm looking forward to it. And Lars is really good at playing a gung-ho army. He loves going into the enemy.
Yeah. So that was your pick, Lars.
That was my pick, Rainer.
Yeah, I had picked Danny.
Yes, Mr. Lucky. Danny, if you watch this video, I expect you to wear the shirt.
So, Danny is, of course, from the Netherlands, and he has been the team captain for the Dutch. And he's coming with a bunch of other Dutch to the Sealand Open tournament. He is bringing his Americans, as he always does. It's what he plays, right? If he ever plays anything else, I would be very surprised.
Would you zoom in again?
I will zoom in. He is here. 10 order dice at 800 points.
That's low.
That is low. That is very low. Yeah, Danny is surprisingly low on order dice here, which, I think it's because he picks out what he likes, and then he's just like, I don't care about the order dice. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
He relies on that famous luck that you talked about. So an inexperienced platoon commander with an extra man, rifles, both. 2 light mortars with 1 less crewman. So the cheap version, the American, we can get there for 1 point less than everyone else version. Then he's got 2 regular units of 8-man Marines with a BAR. So very much version 2 Marines for me. I think perhaps I would consider at some point changing these out with light machine guns if I was running Americans, but I don't think you can with Marines. So, and then he takes the excellent Merrill Marauders. Merrill's Marauders are really cool, and he takes 3 SMGs on those guys. So that is a dangerous unit of veterans, 6-man veterans. And if I remember correctly, they have Fieldcraft.
Yes, they do.
Which Fieldcraft on tough fighters, I mean, that's a small pseudo Gurkha unit of push assaulters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He also brings a bazooka, regular, a war dog. I recommended that to him because of Daniel from our club, who has always played the war dog, and it's a very cheap little scoring unit. 2 veterans. I mean, what's not to like? And then, as he often does, the Hellcat, command vehicle, HMG on top, and a Stuart M3A1, which is the flamethrower Stuart.
The Satan's asshole, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, exactly. So that is
so I have one comment before we deep dive. The light mortar for 20 points. In the future, that probably wouldn't fly because the American book actually changed it. We didn't restrict whether or not you bought units from only US or the rules book. But I know in future tournaments that would probably happen. And in the US Armies of US V3 book, you cannot buy inexperienced 2-man crew. For the light mortar. It's a 3-man crew. Inexperienced, or it's a 2-man veteran crew, because it's technically the airborne or ranger or marine version, meaning they have to be
something with you needed a certain amount of expertise in order to not have the extra man for the crew, right?
Exactly. So I would imagine in future tournaments the 20 points light mortar is a thing in the past, at least for the Americans.
Yeah, I think so too. Right.
So I like this list.
Yeah.
I also looked at the list. The thing that I think is a little bit strange is that he didn't take Reke on the Hellcat.
Yes. He didn't have points.
That would the points, of course.
Yep.
I don't remember what his 400 points list looked like, but I would have. So Marines, when you buy Marines, it's a minimum of 7 guys, meaning he has bought an extra guy for each Marine squad. I think
before he took the Reke,
I would have kept them at 7. Just at least on one of them to afford the Reke in the 800 point list.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I think Danny mostly, and he agonizes over lists. He sent me so many texts. I don't know what to do. And it was like 4 days after the deadline. I was like, hand in your list, Danny. And I think in the end, he just went with something that he knew. Like, I think he went back to what he knows, which is what a lot of us does, because we know how to play that. Even though V3 has changed up the game, it's like some lists are still more or less feel like they did. And he knows how to play these skirmishes, and he knows how to play the Hellcat. So yeah, and I think that Hellcat against the Landswerk links we just saw from Lars, that Hellcat could wreak havoc, right? Because it's firing the HMG that way and firing the heavy AT gun that way. Boom, killing one a turn or something like that. Potentially.
Yeah, potentially. But the problem is it's also 7+ open topped.
Yes.
Meaning that the Landswerker links can actually, 5 of them can absolutely make Swiss cheese out of the Hellcat, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is a case of it's a strong backbone list, but I think the lack of order dice might hamper
it
his
might
800 point
end up annoying him a little bit, though he is definitely not the lowest in order dice that we will see at the tournament. No, we have a couple of guys who are at 9, and we have a bunch who are at 10. Okay. Yes, some are. I think the average for 800 points list was 11.1 or something like that. Okay. So he's not massively below the average, but
the cap was 16 at 800 points, by the way.
Yeah. And no one went to 16. The highest, I think, is mine, which is 15. Yeah. And that's because I take absolutely no vehicles. I have one transport, and the rest is just infantry bodies. So
yeah. And that's what you can do when you make a ringer list, that you can play with things and make
weird stuff.
Choices.
Right. So that was Danny. Here we go. What are we going to go to next? We're going to go to 1250, aren't we?
Yes.
Come on, open up. Sorry, I just accidentally closed the lists. By the way, link to the list will be in the description. At 1250, what did you pick out? I picked out Bjarke.
Let's start with Bjarke. Which Bjarke? We have 2 Bjarkes joining us.
Bjarke B. So Bjarke B is also one of the rookie players that has appeared in my rookie evenings this last half a year. Who's going to one of his first real tournaments, which is so cool. So I wanted to highlight that.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's bringing 19 order dice in a 1250 list.
Spot for 1250, I feel.
Yeah, it really is. And he's bringing, look at this. He's bringing a platoon commander, veteran, with 4 extra dudes.
I fucking love it. This is
loaded to the hilt with submachine guns. Man, that is so cool.
Yeah.
That officer unit is going to be deadly.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And then green Fallschirmjägers, inexperienced, hoping for that upgrade with submachine guns.
Yeah.
66 points for 6 men. It's actually not that expensive, but
that is alarmingly cheap, because you have the opportunity to be upgraded. And 6 men with the submachine guns, that is in your face, close point blank range. Yes, you hit on 5s because of inexperience, but still.
But then it'll be 3s because it's point blank, right?
Yeah.
So if he has the transport, then yeah. And another green unit with 7 men rifles. And then more green, 8 experience with LMG, 7 men.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's really leaning into that green, and I hope he gets the 6s, right? I really hope he gets the 6s during this tournament. Another green backline holder, 7 men, hitless buzzsaw. Once they are in position, that 5+ to hit will crop up when you're shooting 5 dice, right?
Yeah.
AT rifle, light mortar, and then an armored platoon, and this is where it gets good. So he has the Panzer II, which has turret-mounted light autocannons and a coaxial medium machine gun, and he doesn't have Recce on it, so it's not a Panzer Lux, it's just the Panzer II.
Okay.
Command, and then a 222, again, turret-mounted light autocannon, coaxial machine gun, and this one does have recce because it's open topped as well.
Yep.
Another 222.
Yes.
And another Panzer II. Again, same deal, just the Panzer II, not the looks. And then finally a Panzer IV medium tank with the turret-mounted light howitzer and machine guns.
I love it.
Yeah, 175 points. That's actually kind of good.
4 aus B. Which letter is that Panzer IV? It's one of the early ones, right?
One of them. Doesn't really matter because the difference is only for rivet counters, not us. The point is that light howitzer and the 9+ armor. This tank can actually drive into the center of the table and sit there in cover and dominate the central field. Yes, it won't kill a lot, but it being hit by a heavy light howitzer, it hurts.
But, I mean, the thing is, while the light howitzer can hurt if you're not in cover.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
The fact that he has 2 MMGs with hitless buzzsaw, if that's 8 shots, that's gonna hurt, even if you are in cover, because you get hit by so much.
Yep. Yep.
And that he is basically from the front unkillable by most of what we've looked at so far, right?
Yeah. Those light autocannons are not gonna. They're gonna tickle
him because he's regular, but that's it.
Yeah.
They need to flank him to actually hurt him.
Yeah.
We've seen 2 things that can hurt this so far from the front. That's the Hellcat, which of course has a heavy anti-tank, +6.
Yeah.
And it's the same list which has the flamethrower.
Yep.
Tank.
Yeah. So I think this tank is going to be basically invulnerable. So it turns it into an actually usable Death Star somehow, which for me is really,
it's not
really
even
cool.
that expensive at 175 not comparing to other Armor 9 tanks, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. 175. That is very cheap.
Yep.
Yep. So that was my pick.
Is that the last of this list?
Yeah, that
isn't
is
there more if you scroll up?
Oh, sorry. No, there's even more.
I was expecting more, and there's more.
Heavy weapons, inexperienced officer, and double medium machine gun team, and a medium mortar with spotter, and a medium mortar with spotter, and 280 rifles. Yeah, you were right. There was a lot more.
I think the fact that we saw the heavy, I think this is what makes it a fairly balanced list.
Yes.
He has a strong armor platoon, obviously.
Yeah.
He has squishy infantry, meaning.
But they can be upgraded. Yeah.
Exactly. And then he has a very strong toolbox in his heavy weapons platoon, right?
Yeah.
Both to hold backlines with his MMGs, which has, because it was so 6 shots each, and since it's on the table and not on a truck, it is the full 6 shots. It gets 7 shots because of it. Yeah, that's insane, right? Yeah. And then double medium mortar with spotter, meaning he can hide them and still pound you. And then
because he has that tank sitting in the center of the table, you're not going to focus on his spotters and medium mortars. You're going to focus on that tank, right?
There are other things too. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this.
Okay, my list is not that different, actually, the one I chose for 1250, and that's Morten Felt.
Yes, because Morten has been our problem child. Like he has a nickname called the Mouse Man because he often brings like the weird and wonderful stuff, which is so amazing. But he doesn't win much, right? So I think he's trying to change that because looking at this list, it is actually very good. 18 order dice.
18 order dice. Germany. What does he bring? He brings a
veteran.
He brings a veteran as well. Only 3 guys, but still, that's 3 killy guys.
Yep. And then veteran grenadiers with LMG, 5-man, 2 of those. Very survivable, considering the back lines. Can move up a little bit. AT rifle.
They can move and shoot, right? So they can actually push with a lot of shots.
Yep. And double light mortar, and then the excellent 250/4 prototype, double medium machine gun.
And he's gonna put one of the hairs in there.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Either that, or he could put the officer with an AT rifle, making it a small snap to. I'm going to move up and shoot in the flank. That heavy tank, right? And then the armored platoon. He's actually one of the few players who takes an armored command vehicle, the Panzerbefehlwagen. Which has a forward-facing medium machine gun and command vehicle.
Yep. Built 65 points.
Yep. And then Panzer 1, that's the turret-mounted early war version of an experimental gun. So it's got the squeeze bore 18-inch gun, which is actually kind of dangerous at close range.
It is. It's 2 shots.
Yep.
Kensu.
Yep.
For 100 points. And an coaxial MMG. So he can also, at range, blast you down.
Yep. And then a flak panzer with a turret-mounted light autocannon, open-topped. He doesn't care. He can bring 2 of those here. Again, 75 points. Fairly cheap. And another rifle platoon with another platoon commander. This one inexperienced. Cut down to basics. Green Fallschirmjägers again. Green Fallschirmjägers. And a Faust. And then another armor platoon, again with a Panzerbefehlwagen, Panzer 1, again the squeezebore version, turret-mounted machine guns for a Panzer 1, so a darker Panzer, the 2 machine guns, and a medium version of the Panzer 1 here, 9+, Hitler's Buzzsaw,
yes, it only has double MMG, but it's 9+.
Yep.
You're not going to get rid of it unless you have something.
Version. It really, you're not going to kill it. It's going to sit there and shoot at you and shoot at you and shoot at you and shoot at you.
It's going to give you a bunch of pins, and then it's probably going to just run you down.
Yep. I think he is because it can. That can absolutely tank assault that vehicle.
How many vehicles does he end up having?
So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the other platoon of 5, 6,
another 4,
7, 8 vehicles. Now, not all of them can do tank assaults, but the
open top, of course, are unable to, but the rest can.
Yep, exactly.
And that's a lot of vehicles that you have to contend with, right?
Yeah.
I think Lars's list and this list would be a good mirror match, almost, right? While the MMGs cannot hurt Lars's links, other stuff in this list can.
Yep.
And but Lars would have to contend with 2 armor 9s. Even though they only have MMGs, they're still high on his list, right?
Yeah, they are, and they could absolutely hurt his infantry. So while he is trying to pin the armor 9s, or maybe even get out and get side shots, the infantry is still going to be shot to pieces. I think that would be an interesting matchup. Maybe we should match them up.
I really like this list, and it's I like that Morten is experimenting with some of the more quirky vehicles.
He always does, doesn't he?
And he does. And building a list around a mouse, which he did last year, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And building a list around some of these more expensive and making it this competitive, I think it's really, really great.
Yeah, for me, this is not a bad list at all. I think this is a very competitive, a strong list.
Yeah, I agree. It has it all, right? Yeah, it has the vehicles. It has some AT. It has at least 1 Faust, and it has some anti-tank rifle, right?
Yeah.
And it has veterans with LMGs, sorry. And it has backline holder in a green, inexperienced. Yep. It has a very good mix of everything.
It does. And I
if
think
he needs another armor 9 tank, he will struggle without a doubt. That is the only real thing he faces he would struggle with, right?
Yeah,
because he doesn't. He has 1 Panzer Faust, as I remember.
So that one Panzerfaust is going to be very important.
It has to be used at the exact right moment.
But he could throw it into the prototype and try and throw it up and get a side shot at point blank. But he has to kill it then. He has to kill that tank.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the main worry that we have. Right. That was it list-wise from us today.
Yes.
Thank you all for tuning in, and we shall see what happens.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Me as well. Yeah.
Bye, guys.